After the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Western companies began to leave the federation all at once. Consumers could not get the goods they needed because of the sanctions imposed on the state. As a result, Moscow started looking for support from Asian partners.
Russia turned to the east not because it wanted to or was working on it, but because it had no other choice. And this compulsion is the main reason for dependence. The Russian Federation has no other options now. Russian diplomacy is in a certain isolation. The only way to stay on the world agenda is to develop ties with countries that have not turned their backs on Russia. Timur Umarov, fellow at the Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center in Berlin, in a commentary for the BBC Russian service.
China has become the main economic partner of the Russian Federation. For example, it is Chinese cars that dominate the Russian car market. Before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, there were 60 different car brands in the Federation. Afterwards, there are only 14 left. 3 are domestic and 11 are Chinese. For China, the Russian Federation is a vast and promising market. In return, Moscow offers only raw materials. However, experts believe that this may not be enough for Beijing.
Obviously, for China, Russia is a source of energy commodities, mainly crude oil, gas, liquefied natural gas, as well as coal. So these are the main commodities coming from Russia to China.
China still needs technologies from Russia that they are not yet capable of doing. For example, the production of nuclear submarines, which China cannot do yet. I think they are interested in these technologies. They are interested in fast neuron reactors, which Rosatom has, and some other technologies that they haven't got from Russia yet.
Russia and China trade using their national currencies, the ruble and the yuan. This way, the Kremlin is trying to avoid sanctions risks. However, experts believe that by doing so, the Kremlin is making itself increasingly dependent on Beijing, as the volume of trade with other countries is steadily decreasing.
Moscow has been much more dependent on Beijing, not only in the economic sphere, but also in the diplomacy, in the political sphere, because China has become a more influential actor in the global sphere. But obviously, when it comes to reaching and delivering the main goals for China, they are much more self-sufficient, and Moscow is much more dependent on Beijing.
The head of the Kremlin came to Beijing for the One Belt, One Road Economic Forum and held talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Experts believe that Russian president may have asked for arms supplies, but China is unlikely to dare take such a step. Washington has warned Beijing about the consequences several times. There were no joint agreements following the talks between Xi Jinping and Putin. There is also no information about signing any bilateral agreements. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.